This is Will Charles. This is a WoW guide on Shamans, Elemental, Enhancement, and Restoration. Uh, Pretty much, we're gonna starting off with Enhancement, then Elemental, and then Restoration. Enhancement is a fairly easy class to learn, but a hard class to deal with when you're trying to up your DPS rate to get into better raids. Enhancement Shamans, they are consisted. You want to get gear with agility, hit, and attack power. Agility brings up your hit rating. You can hit faster, hit harder, and then attack power is just hitting harder. And then hit rating, you have a better chance of hitting things that are over level 80. And pretty much every single raid is there are level 83 elites to 85 elites. And they're just kind of pain in the ass sometimes. Hit rating really helps you out. You can take off your hit rating gear. With my shaman, I leveled as elemental first, then switched to enhancement around 60 to get a hang of all the classes, all the specs. And so what I did was I stacked shitload of hit, crap loads of hit, and then I went for agility and then attack power, and it worked out great. I threw around 1,400 DPS as a level 67, I think, and I really kicked some ass. And then at 70, right as I hit 70, Wrath of the Lich King came out, the expansion, and I went resto. Well, that didn't really work out because I kind of had to be able to kill things as resto, not just do dungeons. So I switched to elemental, and that's what I'm going to be talking about right now. Elemental is you have to have hit. You have to have hit. You have to have shitloads of hit. You have to have your hit capped, and if not, go over the hit cap by quite a bit. You have to have spell power. You have to have just intellect. Hit, spell power, and intellect. You don't need anything else. Some MP5 would be good. MP5 is mana regen, so if you have good mana regen, good intellect amount, good mana amount, good spell power, you should be good. You just have to know how to use your rotations right. My rotation was Flame Shock, Lava Burst, Earth Shock, Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning. I would pop Elemental Mastery. Then I would go for a Instant Lava Burst with my glyphs and everything. That worked perfectly well. In Max, right as I hit 80, I pulled 3,000 DPS. It was pretty hard for me, but I got through it. So remember, for enhancement, you need hit, agility, and attack power. For elemental, you need hit, spell power, and intellect. Then for restoration, probably the hardest class, hardest spec to learn as a shaman. It is really, it's tough because it's hard to become a good healer when you're trying to learn the class, trying to learn what gear you get to need. So this is just to help you out. 70, once I hit 80, I knew that I was a good healer. So after I did everything with Nax and everything and such, I went from elemental to healing, which was a complete different change because I needed pretty much different gear. With elemental, like I said before, you're gonna need hit. I had to get rid of all my hit gear because I had already had it enchanted, already had it gemmed, and it was pretty much gear that consisted of intellect and hit and spell power. So I had to I had to completely do the exact same raids again. I had to get new gear, get all new gear. Once I switched, about 3 months before I switched, 3 months after I switched, Ulduar came out. You know, if you were in an Ulduar group, you were pretty much the shit. If you could get past the first 3 bosses, you were pretty much the shit. Kolgarn, probably the hardest boss for us at that time. We just couldn't get past him. So I had to go healing. In between that, I had to have my off spec to be elemental. And so I would heal, and I would also DPS at the same time. I kept all that gear from elemental just in case. But Restoration, you need MP5. A lot of MP5. You can never get enough of that stuff. But once you hit about 1.2k or just 1000 with your procs and everything, you should be good. You should just leave that alone. But MP5 should be on the back burner. You should mainly have intellect and spell power. The two things you always need are intellect and spell power as a shaman. You're going to need MP5, obviously, because you're going to have to regen a lot of that mana back. The crazy thing about shamans is that our spells are worth 600 mana, 1000 mana, 800 mana, and then 600 mana. All of them are around that area. So we run out of mana pretty fast. Unless you have crazy mana regen like I did, you're not going to have some fun in any of those raids. You're going to need to stack all that stuff up, know how to gear, know how to heal, definitely know how to heal tanks. Shamans are great at healing tanks. Shaman healers are only good at healing tanks if you can throw huge heals on the tanks in a little bit of time, so you're going to need haste too. Haste is also a big factor. Haste is one of the things that you will probably be judged on quite a bit if you don't have enough of it trying to get into a raid. When I tried to get into Ulduar by healing, I didn't have enough haste. They let me in. I got through the first 4 bosses. We got to Kologarn, and we got through the first 4 bosses. My bad. We got to Kologarn. I couldn't heal it because the druid that we had in the guild just would not work with us. He was a druid who wasn't stacking what he needed to be. He just stacked spell power and intellect. Druids are good to have intellect. They should have spirit as well. Spirit, intellect, and haste, and spell power. And then that's pretty much for druids. And so that's the shamans and a little bit about the druids, guys. I hope this helps you out a lot. Send me a message if you're going to need any help on anything else. See you, bye.